Bismillah, alhamdulillah, as-salatu was-salamu ala rasulillah, a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Inna as-salata tanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkar. Surely salah, prayer, prevents immorality and wrongdoing. Sadaqallahul Azim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, inshallah, in this episode, I will talk about the steps to recovery. How can you recover from this addiction? And I hope it will help, inshallah. First, what you have to do is you have to find your motivation. Why do you want to quit? Because when you want to quit, basically you have to accept that there is a problem, and you accept that there is a problem, then you want to quit. So rather than being in a state of denial, you have to find your motivation, the why you want to quit. And finding your why is an extremely important step to quit this addiction. First of all, you have to keep in mind that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching you. Allah has asked us to lower our gaze, right? He would never approve that anyone watches explicit content. So this should be our first why, right? You should keep your mental health in mind, that how badly it is affected, because a person who watches porn is basically isolated, he has sleeplessness, he has violent behavior and certain other behavior issues. And not only mental health, physical health is also affected, as I talked about in episode 2 of porn addiction series and how to deal with it. The next thing is that you should find support, because support is extremely important, right? A thing that basically hinders some people from finding support is that there is a hadith in both Bukhari and Muslim that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that every one of our followers will be forgiven except those who expose their wrongdoings. An example of this is a man who commits a sin at night. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has covered it for him in the morning, and he would say to people, I committed such and such sin last night. While Allah kept it a secret, of course, at night. During the night, Allah covered it up, but in the morning, He tears up the cover provided by Allah Himself. Now, if you find support in a sincere friend who is basically in a true meaning, he is sincere to you and he has a good connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you think that he will help you in the light of Islam and he will be sincere to you in this journey rather than he judges you, then you should talk to him as well. I would suggest that you talk to counselors, you talk to people who are specialized in it, you talk to psychiatrists, you talk to psychologists if you have this kind of addiction. Of course, a friend can also help, but a trained therapist who is basically a psychiatrist or psychologist, they can help in a much better way. The third thing that I will talk about briefly, and it is of huge importance for the next video, is that you have to set your goals, right? Setting goals is extremely important, but we have to go slow, and I talk about setting goals in the next video. Now, you have to know what is needed. First of all, you have to have the right intention. You have to have the right intention means that you should be doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and then to preserve your health, because preserving your own health is of extreme importance in Islam, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves a strong believer more than a weak believer. You have to have commitment, you have to show your strength, you have to use your strength, you have to use resources and finances. And what do I mean by that? There are certain applications which act as blockers for certain content. So if you have to buy them to show strength. I mean that I know that pleasure is something which is very hard to, back down from. But you have to have strength, you have to basically control your nafs, and this is our deen. You have to be patient, because change does not come in one day, it will take time. You have to be courageous in your journey. You have to be courageous because you will be leaving a pleasure, right? And it is extremely hard to leave certain pleasures of life, and of course there is a chemical which is causing pleasure, right? But you have to be courageous. It will affect you, but keep your intention in mind that you are doing it for Allah, and if you are doing it to preserve your own health. You have to prioritize your recovery, because if your recovery is not your priority, let me tell you, you won't be able to recover. The thing is, for your recovery, if you think that Instagram or watching some pictures on Instagram is your stimulant, delete it, right? If you think YouTube is the cause, delete it. If you think Facebook is the cause, delete it. If you think any other social media app or any other application you think is the cause, delete it for your recovery. If you think television is your stimulant, stop watching television, because your priority should be your recovery, and what matters the most is your recovery. This was all for episode 3, and I hope it will help you, and Jazakumullahu.